Today I'm going to reveal Australia's most trusted brands for 2022 across a range of categories. We've been measuring trust and also distrust, particularly distrust, for 5 years now. Trust is, it's basically the foundation of all human connections. It goes beyond customer satisfaction. It goes beyond Net Promoter Score or NPS. Would you be willing to actually recommend to a friend? It's much more powerful and it's much more fragile. Today we're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate those businesses who are much more trusted than distrusted, and those businesses that are the most trusted in their category. It's about brands and companies that people do trust. What we do, unsurprisingly, is a survey. We're Roy Morgan, of course. So we basically continually track brands that people trust and distrust. Each year since late 2017, we ask more than 20,000 people. Each month it's about 1,800 people, 20,000 people, which brands they trust and which ones they distrust. And crucially, we ask them why. Why do they trust that brand? Why do they distrust that brand? And it's very qualitative because they can say anything they like. Which brands do you trust? They can say a supermarket brand, they can say a plug brand, they can say a car brand, they can say a media brand, whatever comes into their mind. So it's completely open. And then when it comes to why, again, it's their own words. It's what comes to the surface. It's very much about exposing how they feel about these things. And what that means, of course, is that for a brand that comes to the surface, that bubbles to the surface and is nominated by lots of people, it really is top of mind. It really is, it's found its way through that mass of brands that are swirling around in people's consciousness, either as a trusted brand or particularly painfully if it's a distrusted brand. So on to the first industry winner. The supermarket industry has been the most trusted since COVID struck. Before April 2020, before COVID, Bunnings and Aldi dominated the individual rankings. But when COVID hit, the big supermarkets, Woolworths and Coles, really stepped up. And they've consistently been the two most trusted brands in Australia ever since, been in the trusted brands in Australia ever since. So who are the three finalists? Well, I can announce the third most trusted supermarket brand is Aldi. The second most trusted supermarket brand is Coles. And the winner is, who can guess? Woolworths.
It's quite poignant being back here today because you might recall we were sitting here in this room at the launch events of the Trust Index, and
We were.
And I think we were okay, not great, and it acted as one of the catalysts, to be honest. And it was actually a pivotal moment in terms of a big shift in being much more, I think, diligent. I think it was always in our hearts, but it became much more diligent and much more disciplined around trust, where we stood and what we needed to do.
Now, more broadly than just supermarkets, the retail industry is consistently trusted by Australians. And when COVID hit, retailers really had to reinvent themselves. The word pivot became a kind of irritating refrain. Everyone had to pivot, but of course we all did. Customers couldn't or wouldn't go out to visit stores, so what's known as the last mile delivery actually became incredibly important. It became the hottest topic in retail and in delivery logistics. It's the last mile, getting it to the customer. Our research with both business leaders and consumers showed that retailers and their delivery partners, the people who actually did the deliveries, had to accelerate the digital transformation somewhere between 3 and 5 years in a matter of weeks or months. Click and collect was another response, and this was the time that omni-channel came of age. So to the finalists, I can announce the third most trusted retail brand is Myer. The second most trusted retail brand is Kmart. And in a really good day for Wesfarmers, the winner is Bunnings.
Our team is the absolute heart and soul of our business. And over the past couple of years, like many in the room, it's been a very, very tough experience for FE1. And we will take this opportunity to say a huge thank you to them They are what drives the trust in our organisation, and our job is to support them, and we're extremely grateful for their ongoing support.
So while department stores and discount department stores are clearly part of the retail industry, they're pretty special, and Roy Morgan keeps a really close eye on them and watches them as they attract customers, lose customers, etc. Iconic department stores like David Jones and Myer probably reached their modern day peak just under 20 years ago. The last decade has been just an extraordinary challenge for them. As one legendary CEO said, running a department store in the 21st century is more about real estate than retailing. Category killers, not like Bunnings of course, sucked whole categories out of department stores. Who can remember going to a department store to buy a refrigerator, or to buy books, or hardware, or furniture, or luggage? Not anymore. The big department stores were left with way more floor space than they needed, and unbreakable leases that stretched out into the distant future. So that was also paralleled by the rise of the discount department store, an absolutely perfect storm for the major department stores like Myer and David Jones. And they basically responded by being always on sale. Their value was won and lost, and trust rose and fell in line with ownership battles and roller coaster share market performances. So who in this category are the most trusted brands? Well, the number 3 position is Big W, and the second most trusted store brand in this subcategory is Myer, recently overtaking Big W. And continuing the good day for Wesfarmers, the winner is Kmart.
Our purpose at Kmart, and I don't think this would be a surprise, is to make everyday living brighter, and we do that through low prices for life, which is absolutely our tagline, but more broadly a commitment. And it's a mantra, it's something we take very, very seriously. So thank you on behalf of the entire team across Australia and New Zealand, and the Asia team as well.
Now we look at services, or what we call the services industry category. This is a really diverse category that includes things like social and professional services, ranging from emergency services, health services, education, to postal services, legal and accounting, comparison services like CanStar and Choice. It even includes trade unions. So this is what a politician might call a broad church. A politician probably wouldn't stumble, a broad church. And in the most trusted services brand category, the winner is Australia Post.
Everyone at Australia Post is here to serve all Australians. I think we're probably the only brand in Australia where everyone is actually a customer.
We now look at charities, and the charity category includes more than 30 charitable brands, from World Vision, St Vincent de Paul and the Salvation Army, to the RSPCA, Red Cross, Greenpeace and the Cancer Council. So to the finalists. In number 3 position is the RSPCA. In the second position, second most trusted charitable brand, is the Red Cross. And the winner, the most trusted charity in Australia, is the Salvation Army.
Trust is absolute gold for us. When you stop and consider the donations that we receive right across the nation in significant numbers, particularly during times of economic uncertainty, you actually get humbled by the fact that people trust us to receive their hard-earned cash. And more than that, it's not just the donors, it's also equally the people that come to us for help. And every single day we work incredibly hard to build trust with a group that have often had their trust broken by people who are so-called family members, friends, but also by the system.
We move on to the automotive sector. That includes the obvious things like car brands like Ford, Volkswagen, Hyundai, Mazda, Toyota, but also rideshare brands like Uber, public transport brands like Sydney Trains and Brisbane's Translink, Melbourne's Metro Trains, as well as road owners. All of these things fall in that kind of automotive category. CityLink, so to the finalists, all of that broad thing. So to the finalists. In number 3 position, car brand Hyundai. In second most trusted automotive brand is Mazda. And the winner, in many ways not surprisingly, is Toyota. So, well done Toyota.
We're absolutely committed to building trust. It's pivotal to who our organisation is, and it's the key to our mantra. So everything we do is about building and strengthening the trust with our customers as well as the general public.
Now, looking at financial services, and particularly the non-banks in the financial services category. So that's things like card providers like Visa and American Express. It's payment systems like PayPal and Bitcoin. Non-bank lenders like Latitude Finance and Nimble, and the buy now, pay later like Afterpay and Zip. And of course super funds like UniSuper and Australian Super. So that's the kind of group. So, to the finalists, who are the most trusted? In number 3 position in this category is the Health and Community Services Super Fund, HESTA. Number 2 in this sector is Australian Super. And the winner in this whole sector by a lot is PayPal.
The safety and security of our customers, both buyers and sellers, is a top priority for us and something that we really work hard to maintain. Our research has shown that during the pandemic, over 2 million Australians actually started shopping online regularly. And we're proud that we were able to help everyday Australians shop online securely and safely through such an important time.
It's interesting to note that 7 of the non-bank financial services that had a net trust score, that means they had more trust than distrust, of 7, 5 were in fact super funds. In no particular order, Aware Super, HESTA, UniSuper, QSuper and Australian Super. So, to the superannuation finalists, in number 3 position is QSuper. In number 2, second place is HESTA, and unsurprisingly, the winner is Australian Super.
We are incredibly proud, both for the award, but also that our members have spoken and given us that feedback.
Now moving on to insurance, a category that covers a whole bunch of different kinds of insurance like life insurance, general insurance, and a number of those general insurance brands have a financial relationship with roadside assistance like RACV and NRMA. And we'll look at private health insurance separately. But in the finalists in this insurance category, number 3 position is West Australian RAC, the Western Australian insurer RAC, they don't have a W in it. The second most trusted brand is Queensland insurer RACQ. And the winner, the most trusted insurance brand in Australia, is NRMA. So congratulations.
For us, being recognised as a trusted brand is an award that we accept with great pride. It's a great privilege to be able to help customers in their greatest time of need, and it's a responsibility that we take very seriously.
There are 2 fundamentally different types of private health insurers. Those that operate on a commercial for-profit basis, like Bupa, NIB and Medibank, and those that are mutual organisations and operate on a not-for-profit basis, like HCF and HBF. So to the finalists, 3rd position is Bupa, 2nd most trusted is HCF, and the winner is HBF. So congratulations.
We've been looking after Australians' health for over 80 years, predominantly in Western Australia, but more so nationally. And to be recognised by the national audience in a trusted, it's really a testament to our team and their integrity, their hard work, for doing everything we do for our members, with the members at our heart.
Utilities, a category that includes lots and lots of different brands, gas, electricity, water companies. Now this category is particularly significant in a decarbonising world. The energy transition is fully underway. So with breakneck innovation, new business models are developing before our eyes. As CEOs and investors place decarbonisation at the centre of their strategy, social and consumer pressures are demanding completely new kinds of thinking and cheaper prices. This industry category is really at the epicentre of electrification, and electric vehicles are at its epicentre. There's no room for the old days in this category or the old ways. So to the finalists. In number 3 spot, Western Australian energy brand Synergy. The second most trusted utility brand is Hong Kong-owned Alinta Energy. And the winner is our very own Red Energy.
You know, electricity fulfills every single thing we do in a modern life. It's a grudge purchase, and I don't know why. We started about 20 years ago, and from nothing, and we've got over 1 million customers now, and over 1,000 staff, a local business, local staff, and when you start with nothing, you know that people have to trust you.
Government services is one of the 5 most distrusted categories in the Roy Morgan Risk Monitor. This category, the government area, includes 15 government entities, including things like the ABS, the Australian Tax Office, Centrelink, CSIRO, NDIS, and the more general brands of the state and federal governments. Now, it's worth observing that Centrelink, which is still tainted by the robo-debt scandal, like seriously tainted by that, is deeply distrusted. But for now, let's look at the finalists who are trusted. Unsurprisingly, there are only 2. The second place is Medicare, and the winner is CSIRO.
At CSIRO, we've got a 100-year legacy that we build on. We've been solving Australia's greatest challenges for over 100 years, and our scientists are incredibly proud of the work that they do. We've got 5,500 scientists distributed around the country in partnership with people around the world, focused on problems that Australians face. So it's an incredible privilege for us to have that role, but also to be here today.
Now to media, and media is a category that envelops all of our lives. It entertains us, it brings us the news, shapes our thinking, and in this survey, it includes almost 70 brands that cover print, online news media, magazines, radio, television, cinemas, and even the media owners themselves. It doesn't include, we separate out social media, which sadly is so distrusted that there are no winners to bring you today. There is no social media that has more trust than distrust, so they are not here today. Third place is Australia's most trusted commercial TV station. Second place is the global streaming service, Netflix. That's interesting, isn't it? And the winner, of course, is the ABC.
I have seen the rise of the conspiracy theories, and I think all I can say is on behalf of the ABC and the journalists that I work with that this is an opportunity for us to step into those breaches that have occurred over the last few years with, quite frankly, the growth of social media, and noticeably no winners here for social media. And it is up to us to continue to prove that accuracy is important for us.
Mining and petroleum is a very distrusted category, covering 29 brands. The industry is mainly distrusted for its perceived environmental irresponsibility and for being motivated by profit ahead of the environment. The impact of the Juukan Gorge incident of May 2020, where Rio Tinto destroyed 46,000-year-old sacred Aboriginal rock shelters to expand an iron ore mine, is still having an impact right across the sector. And there's a couple of people in the audience who could say, yes, that's true. So it comes as no surprise that there's only one finalist, only one trusted mining and petroleum brand that has more trust than distrust, and that is Dr. Andrew Forrest's Fortescue Metals Group, or FMG.
A As a marine biologist who spent most of her career trying to protect Australia's reefs, I never thought I would work for a mining company at any point in my entire life. But as this survey shows, we are a little bit different to other mining businesses. We know that iron ore isn't our only export, it's also CO2. And that's why we recently announced a US $6 billion investment to eliminate every single fossil fuel in our operations by 2030.
The banking sector, like mining, is also a deeply distrusted category, with only telecommunications and social media more distrusted. There are about 50 brands in this category, ranging from the big four banks and global brands to small credit unions and mutuals. One thing's certain though, there are two underpinning drivers of trust in the banking industry. The first is what I'd call invisible governance, which simply means we don't get to see what's going on because the governance is happening overseas. There's a lot of that. The second important driver is what we've talked about already, community bias. And Bendigo Bank has a community partnership model. It doesn't just do nice things for the community, it goes into business with communities in regional Australia, and that helps make it a really trusted brand. So let's take a look at the finalists. In third place is Suncorp. In second place is the very trusted ING, and the winner, unsurprisingly, is Bendigo Bank.
Our vision is to be Australia's bank of choice, and we believe that that success is driven by our ever-enduring purpose, which is to feed into the prosperity of our customers and into the prosperity of the communities in which we operate.
Included in this category are around 20 brands covering internet and mobile data providers, telephone services, handset manufacturers. Remember, Apple is a technology company. So of the range of brands covered in this category, telephone service providers provoke the strongest feelings of both trust and distrust. And of course, I can't ignore the elephant in the room, the Optus data breach. We ran a Snap SMS poll during the week following that data breach and found that it had driven distrust across the whole industry, the entire industry, with the majority of Australians saying that they had either no trust in any telco or that they distrusted all telcos. And more respondents said they now distrust Optus and said they trusted it. But I think the critical thing is that this data breach reached out and had an impact on all telcos, and I would say even more broadly than that. It's actually made us really think carefully about these things. So the normally deeply distrusted Telstra appears to have been the main beneficiary, with more respondents now saying they trust Telstra compared to those who distrust it. But let's return to the Trust Awards, the overall most trusted brands over the last year. And the finalists, third place is TPG, second place is iiNet, and the winner is, as we all know, Aussie Broadband.
We have trust at the heart of our values, and we think that that comes through in what you'll see up there around the comments that customers have given to Roy Morgan on the way that they trust us. You'll see it on our product reviews, and we're very, very honoured to be the most trusted telco.
So one brand absolutely stood out, both in its response to the challenges of COVID, its continuous market leadership stance, and of course its overall numerical rating, because that's what it's all about at Roy Morgan. And so the winner of the most trusted brand in Australia award, Best of the Best, is Woolworths. Now, shortly, I'm going to ask Andrew Hicks to come up and accept the award, but first we're going to hear from Woolworths CEO Brad Banducci with his reaction to the win. Here's Brad.
Hi, I'm Brad Banducci, and I'm very sorry not to be there with you tonight at the awards. It is an extreme privilege to have been recognised as the most trusted brand in Australia, and especially by Roy Morgan, which is a very trusted brand in its own right. So thank you very much for the award. Michelle and Roy Morgan team, what you might not know is that 7 years ago when we were in the doldrums, we really got fired up at where we sat on the trust index in Australia, and have spent 7 years working very hard to build trust, and this is a wonderful recognition of it. Although that said, just given the challenges we've had this week, and one of the reasons I'm not there is the data breach we've had in my deal, now a Woolworths subsidiary, and it reminds me of how hard it is to build trust and how easy it is to lose it. So terrific to have this award. It is not actually an award that I'm accepting or Andrew Hicks, who's there in my stead, but it's an award on behalf of the 205 hardworking people at Woolworths. And if there's one thing that has epitomised the last couple of years in Woolworths, it has been our team, the engagement in store and living our purpose of creating better experiences together for a better tomorrow. And in the middle of COVID, doing whatever it took to do the right thing for the customers we served, the team and how they supported each other and the communities we were lucky enough to be part of. So thank you very much. I say it is a great honour. We're back at it tomorrow to work on making sure we hold this position, and have a terrific evening.